Hey guys, I'm on the phone, but we'll start flying while I'm talking, but I'm just gonna have you guys muted. Greetings. We are so long into the stream and y'all have not heard my voice yet. I am so sorry, everybody. I had one of my good friends on the phone, and I'm not going to be like, hey dude, gotta go. Sorry, I got something going on, so... Anyways, thanks for being here, Mr. Southeast Aviation, formerly known as GA Spotter. I'm going to do a little bit more with this just because I want to hear the Huey. Had a couple of good autos popping in here. I can hear it now. I'm sure you probably had some good chopping in the stream there. I'm assuming you had that audio. Yep. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Saw there's like 1 or 2 people who popped in while I was on the phone just flying and not answering shit, but we're here now. We are here now. Somehow I've yet to get a chip light. I mean, we did spawn with it already running, so we didn't have to fight any sort of torque management things during the run-up. Dude, I had a sick one into the field back here. That one auto where I kind of like did this sort of thing and put it down on like the edge of the field. Because these things float. These Hueys, they have a ridiculous amount of rotary inertia. And it's like you can fly so far with those. So there were 2 that I did over here that were kind of special, if you want to call it that. So the first one that was kind of gnarly that we came in and did was a step of the speed. Also, really annoying, I don't see an airspeed indicator here in this trim. Oh, all the way over there to the left. Okay, that's kind of annoying. It's for passenger call-outs. Like, cool, I'm gonna make sure I'm auto-rotating at the correct speed. Oh man, where's my rotor RPM? Over here. Silly thing. Yeah, so I did that one auto. That was, for anybody rewatching, or we have more people in here now that I'm speaking. Welcome everybody. Which we'll do it again. We'll see if we can pop another one here. So, governor off, throttle down. Catch it on a glide. This is extremely fast for an auto. So we can slow ourselves down to like a 60 knot thing. Kind of nose in. We're going to make it in this field right here. But I did this earlier and we had a lot of airspeed coming into it. And with the Huey, there's just so much rotary inertia where you can start pulling way early and set it down appropriately. But anyways, don't RPM limit me. There you go. Slowed yourself down. And the other one, which may not have been as clear as to why I did one going this direction, but there's a power line set over here, and I wanted to do more of an extended, shallow glide slope going into it. So I forget how much altitude I put on, but I cut it when I knew it was going to be a very rough something getting over. Also, to your previous question, those are the thoroughfares that are left by Dobbins by now. No. Oh no, any specific flying plans today? No. But the show that I'm working on is over Thursday, so I'm hoping soon, as in next week, or even maybe this week, maybe Tuesday, I'll look into it. I may do an early, we're going to do a Type 180 thing here. All this rotary inertia to play with. There's the rotor alarm. Anyways, yeah, enough Huey. Nope. It's an escape. There we go. End flight. But I want to do a couple of early set, longer stream. Weird. To get back into that whole mentality of like, hey, work's done. Now I'm on the summer schedule. So with the summer schedule, that means we're streaming again like we did last year when we started the Around the World series. And with that said, we'd be taking off from here, somewhere-ish, which right now would be an okay time if we were trying to do this live. But I don't want to be up for 3 or 4 hours right now, because I do have to wake up at 4 o'clock on Monday. So I don't want to throw my sleep schedule off that much. Thursday is my last day on the show. That's the last day that we are filming. So with that said, hopefully after Thursday, I'll wake up early and I'll do a few morning sessions, whether you guys are in here or not, and we'll work on getting from over here to somewhere over here. We'll do this water crossing on this not a big deal strait. Nothing's going on in the world right here, right now, so that's no big deal. Then we'll start working our way here. And then I think I want to try to jump here, but there's also, we may just work around this bit of Africa, but I don't know, what do you think? Jump over here to like the Cyprus, Crete area. And then, because that's Cyprus there, right? I think so. But like, work this area, or more days this way than up and around. I think we're going to end up being the same anyways as far as time. Like, I could obviously just keep doing Africa over here, but like, this looks boring. This looks boring right here. I think the Around the World series would much be better served once we get across here and we do a big desert day or something. Having a water cross and some land day and do this bit. And then enjoying all these beautiful mountains in Croatia, Slovenia, the Balkan-ish areas. Making it, might even do like a little jump here to catch more mountains this way. And I don't know, I feel like this would be a much more pretty place to fly than this. So yeah, also, if somebody's watching this later, I think it's just 2 of us in here now, you can hop in the Discord, message me on Instagram, multishotmatt, and I'll get you an invite. But you can suggest things. Who's this green guy here? Oh no, that's just a lot of green there. Holy crap, is there a fly-in or something? What time is it over there? It's not even light yet. That's wild. Usually you can't see the green of stuff unless it's like somebody you know flying or somebody on your friends list. So Denver's also hot right now. Or no, yeah, Vegas. Vegas is hot. At least on this server. But Amsterdam, that was stout. Okay, let's do some other emergency situation things or fun flying. Where could fun flying be? Done the Grand Canyon, done all that. Let's see, where is... Also, if anybody's watching, you have suggestions on places to fly. We're just kind of diddling around today. There's no set plans or things to do. We're just having a good old time. Although, to be fair, I really enjoyed doing the medical missions the other night. If anybody watching here, I think we're going to just set an unknown place that's kind of exciting. I'll change it to daytime, which that's going to change once I change helicopters. But we're going to do 407, I think. .407. Let's do Provo? Herbert. Got a homie who lives out in this area. So we're going to base out of Heber. Okay, so Heber City, Utah, Salt Lake City area. I am looking for a dispatch for our medical flight. This could be a transfer from one place to another. This could be a... it's that helicopter again. What are you? Okay, so it's an A-star body. It's got like a 407 style rotor head. It's got a huge ass like Huey exhaust on it. Weird. Okay, well, we're gonna hop out. Oh, I hate that. Okay, so here's our 407. You can imagine it being in medical trim. I'll get it loaded up. Just a generic heli. But I want to know how it flies. Flight performance, center of gravity. So somewhere near Heber City. That's what we're looking for. Pilot. 190. Oh yeah, because I typed in 175. No, pilot's 190. Maybe there's some limit on there. Co-pilot, nope. So we're gonna put behind us here. Got a cute little flight nurse. She's 125. And we got another guy here. He's, oh, what was that? 170. Cargo. I'm just going to add 250 pounds of cargo. Fuel. Seats. 50 pounds there. 50 pounds there. Can I do more cargo than that? I do 250. Okay, cool. So that kind of puts us in a heavy-ish scenario. Full tanks, might as well. Load an aircraft. Load immediately. Sick. So I really don't need the medical parts. We are in Heber City, Utah, which is to the east of the mountains that are east of Salt Lake City. And I am looking for either a transfer or a pickup somewhere. Don't really give me coordinates, I could say. I'd have to see how well this thing does. I haven't messed with this particular thing. Or if you could just give me like a hospital location or something, we could figure that out. I'm going to go ahead and get it started, though, so I have battery and everything going. Shut the horn off here. I don't want to listen to you. Everything's good there. Strobe lights. Watch your tits, bud. We're about to start up. Engine, particle separator. All that's good. That's good there. Pedal. Lights. Boost. I think I need to do my start button on here. Let it go, let it do its thing. Once it hits 16. So yeah, give me a place for a pickup and then also give me a place for a destination and we'll make it do its thing. Okay, that's good there. Generator can go on. Pitot heater on. Hey there, Joey Lombardi. Give me noise. Is it doing the thing where I don't get noise? Oh, there it is. It's right next to the airport and hospital. And Intermountain has a live flight team, so. Check instruments. Okay, cool. Bullshit. You don't need pump on. .407's annoying. Someone fell into the Provo River near the dam, pick them up and take them to the Intermountain IDK. They have their own lifeline. I don't care, you're going to pick them up. Okay, let's see. Provo Dam. So I'm going to look on my personal phone because I can look that stuff up there. So I fell into the Provo River near the dam. Okay, okay. River City, so we're going to the bottom of the lake near the dam. And we're going to take them to Intermountain. Looks like they have a nice big hospital there. Up the street, sick. 220 pounds. Their mountain teams is asleep, and the helicopters they have are all broken. Yeah, those pieces of shit. Don't worry, bud. We'll get you. You gonna do a normal hover for me there, bud? Okay, we're gonna sit down again just because I'm not happy. This dude can wait. The firefighters still don't have him out of the water yet. Are we gonna be doing a water rescue? Kind of like the video of the dog, or are we just gonna pick him up when he... Cause I'll hover near the water if I need to. River City traffic, life flight better than Intermountain, picking up at the helipads, and we will be departing the area to the southwest toward the reservoir. River City. Yo, what's going on? Good to see you, dude. Blowheed. I remember talking to you. Yeah, long time no see. I've been busy with work and doing other stuff. So, streaming is definitely taking a back seat. But I'm here. The particular TV show that I was working on will be finished filming here in 6 days or so. 5 days. So, all things considered, when that's done, I should go back to almost nightly streams. I'd like to finish the Around the World series for sure. But glad to see you back. How have you been? Any new projects going on with you? I know you mentioned you were working on a few things, so I'd be curious to see how they were doing. I'm pretty sure that was you. Weren't you working on some sort of modeling or something? I know there was somebody else that we were talking that was working on modeling of one thing, but I think you were working on a model of something else, maybe? Shit, what was it? I don't remember. It's been a while. I do feel bad for not being on as often, because I really did enjoy last summer having like a consistent like 6 or 7 regulars that were kind of here every night. Okay, we can turn a bit more speed into this. So what we have here, we have been dispatched. You can imagine that all this weight that I've dialed in here is not actually people, that's just weight for medical equipment and stuff. And we're going to be Lego trains. Sick. Like full-size giant things. I'm racking my brain here. I know we talked about it a lot. Either way. But so you know what we're doing here. Trying to learn 3D printing. So I can buy one. Great memory. That's it. Like, I hate to say Bamboo Labs, but I've got a Bamboo Labs P1S, which is basically an X1C without the AI stuff. Which, okay, you know, to each their own. I can deal without it. And it does great. Like, sometimes it will spaghetti, so there's no AI thing to capture the spaghetti stuff of it. If something does happen to go wrong with it. But, I've made some pretty cool stuff. I would say, might be getting one for Christmas. Nice. Pin 2. Oh, dang. Yeah, that is big. Yeah, H2C. That'd be a good way to go. And I know some of the other brands, Creality and stuff, have such. We're going to be looking for our imaginary fire truck down here. I'm going to assume he's below the dam, just because that sounds cooler down here. H2C Creality also has good stuff. I have some friends that are pretty big into 3D printing, and they've become very anti-Bamboo Labs. And the reason for that is, we're going to call it down here near this point. Their reason for being anti-Bamboo Labs is they've changed one of their things where whenever you make something that you need to send to the printer, it has to go through their cloud system, and you can't use any aftermarket slicers with it. And I understand why that's a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. Because then, like, cool, like, if you're here in America and you want to print a firearm, which is completely legal for you to do in a majority of states, you're letting that get approved through something that's whatever their AI product looking thing is. And, yeah, that's not good. And then it's like, cool, if you want to use an aftermarket slicer that maybe has, like, a better way to do, like, the brick layer print lines and stuff like that, then SOL, sorry, not going to work for you. But I've heard good stuff about the Creality things, too, like, just as good as the Bamboo stuff. So let's see. Feels like the wind's kind of coming from that direction down the valley. I'm not moving as I'm turning, and I'm feeling the way it's pushing the helicopter. Yeah. It can run via Ethernet? Well, yeah, you can run through Ethernet, but it's still like locked to a specific slicer, I think. Double check me on that. I've told my friends and stuff, I'm like, hey, look, I'm very, very casual printer. I don't need to worry about one company doing this or doing that. It's like what I'm doing with mine's very much more on the product development side, where I have ideas and I want to make them, and if I can make them work for myself, then maybe I can make them work for somebody else. And that's where I lean on all of my 3D printing designs. I will also say my 3D designing skills are decent, but it's like I'm missing out a lot of huge skills that I should have. Like, I can design a lot of parts and measurements and understand that, but like, I don't know how to make more than one part in the same diagram. So if I have a base and something that twists on the base, I'm making that as two separate parts, writing down and memorizing what the dimensions on these things are, and then like making it off that measurement instead of designing it together as like one multi-parted part, if that makes sense. It's like I would really like to get to a point where I can do that, but what a weirdly off-center. We're gonna level up some. Move up here. Oh, that feels better. Wait, we'll sit here. One poop for color, sorry. Multicolor. With all the ways you can print up 7 colors with only 1 poop per print. I hate plastic waste. 1 poop per color, yeah. Makes sense. Like, you can also remelt if you're producing stuff for yourself and you're not worried about colors, then you could always recycle stuff. So 50, so I'm doing 110, so 160. Okay, so we've increased the weight over on the left side. Sorry, you gained a little bit of weight, honey. So yeah, it's like I'll watch tutorials and watch YouTube stuff, and it will be like okay, cool, so you want to make 2 parts and have them interact with each other, you need to do this. But the thing that they're clicking on, it's already because they've set up the entire thing completely different than what they've already done, or like than what I have my system is. So like when I open something, I create a sketch and then I start extruding a part out of it. But like what they're doing is like they're starting with like a multi-component thing and then creating components and creating sketches on components, and like nobody's going through those first like 3 steps to get me to that point. So I know where to start creating a multi-part project. It's like I need somebody to start from square one without cube 1, since it's 3D designing. I need somebody to start from cube 1. So that way I can at least be like, oh, okay, so when you start a project, you're not just opening a new sketch. You're creating this or creating that, but nobody's going over that. Or if they do, it's like some different setting that they've already got set up in theirs, because when I open up mine, it doesn't show me that. As far as downloading models, I've only downloaded, I could probably count on 2 hands the things that I've downloaded. I've gone through like 20 spools of filament here in the past however long, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years. Like I've done a good bit. But sometimes the effort to download something for me, I don't want to say it's not worth it, but it's like, cool, I'd rather design and learn and get to test ideas and work through a design process on something instead of just downloading something, which I get not everybody's going to do that. But also on that note, there are some things where it's like, okay, cool, like let's just take somebody else's thing. Like my friend was having a birthday party at his house where we kind of hosted a range day. Let everybody come and shoot, and it was also kind of a sell people, because there was a lot of stunt people he invited, because he's a stunt guy, stunt man. So part of that was also a, hey everybody, come to my house, see my range, come hang out, and then we can shoot, and you can hire us for classes and hire us for jobs and stuff. And like as a little gift, like I sent everybody out with like a 3D printed bullet keychain. I was like, cool, I'm not going to sit there and model a 50 cal bullet. I'll just take a model online, download it, size it appropriately, and print it. So like I'll let that be a downloaded thing, or like a few little knickknacks, or like I'm not a trinket person, but I did 3D print a turtle toy for my brother's fiance's daughter, soon to be niece, I guess. Harbor City helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey is 2 miles to the south, transitioning the airspace to the northeast. We will be landing at Intermountain Hospital, Harbor. So it's like very few things I'll download models of, or I'll look up models and try it. A lot of times my brother's like, hey, could I get a headphone holder or something? Sure, I'll print that. When I got my new phone, I 3D printed a couple of phone cases just while I was waiting on my quality one to come in. But most of the stuff I'm designing myself just because I want that experience. I want to understand how it works, and I want to make my brain think in a way that's conducive to all the different aspects of designing a multi-function product. Like when I was making the knee board for my flying lessons, I had to think about and consider a lot of things. So I wanted that to be something I really had to work through and think about designs, dimensions, features, putting different pieces and parts in there to glue set in nuts so I could bolt stuff on, whatever. You know, there are a lot of different things, and I really enjoy the design process. What phone did you get? Google Fold? Oh, nice. I got a Samsung Galaxy S25. I had a, whatever the newer Pixel was, or like 1 year outdated Pixel, but I dropped it and broke it. So I had to get a Galaxy S25. Not because I wasn't going to get a newer Google Pixel, whatever. I didn't want to get the Fold. I'm way too rough on things to have any sort of thing like that. I work in dirty situations, so it's just not, I don't want to put that sort of stress or ability to be ruined on something I'm going to carry, so I'm still sticking to a standard rectangle. But the S25 is good. I enjoy it. It's already cracked because I taught my dog how to fetch my phone for me. I even 3D printed a little quad lock thing for the back of it, which I downloaded that file. It's another thing I didn't want to design because I didn't want to have to look up all the dimensions of the quad lock thing and reverse engineer, put it into something. But he never learned how to pick it up from the little loop on the back. So he ended up cracking the screen when he was carrying it, but that was on me, so he doesn't get my phone anymore. But the screen's still cracked. I have yet to get it fixed. It's just not worth it for me until it stops working. Plus I never get insurance, so that's on me. Okay, down here. And you can see a little quad lock thing there on the back. But like this phone mount here that I have on my table, that's a two-piece thing. So I have this main piece here that slides on and off, and I have a table mount that mounts it to the table. Okay, where am I heading next? Or I can just make a thing. I want to come over the mountains here, and we'll pick somebody up from... What is this place? That looks wild. Somebody here has had an industrial accident. So we have been tasked with flying to wherever this is. If somebody wants to look this up, north of Salt Lake City, or no, south of Salt Lake City, north of whatever this lake here is. So we're going to fly over here. What is this place? I don't know. Well, there's been an industrial accident, so we're going to find a place to land, and then we're going to take them up to Salt Lake. So I'll just go and set us a marker over here. Direct to. How are we looking for going over mountains there? Decent enough. We can follow that road on the left once we get through there. Cool. My Google has the magnets like phone. Never had that before, so it's neat to clip it onto a magnetic charging base. Oh, nice. Yeah, the quad lock thing, it has a magnet type phone case or whatever, so I can stick it to stuff. I just don't like to, because I don't like trusting that. Actually, we're not going to go over the hospital. That's probably frowned upon. So we're going to go over midfield at Herber. Herber City, helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey, picking up at Intermountain. We are going to be departing that area to the southwest, and we will be making a turn to cross over midfield at Herber at 1,000 above the field for an east departure towards Provo. Towards Spanish Fork, I guess. Herber. So there's the airport that we were just talking about. I feel like this pattern over here is the one that's unused just because of the mountain there, so airplanes really wouldn't be doing any pattern work. They'd be doing it all on the other side. That would make sense. So now we're going to go and cross midfield, and then we'll be departing to the east. And see, that's another thing on downloading it and modifying it. It's like, cool, I don't know how to make a project where it has all the different things to where I want to modify like some measurements and stuff like that, and not just like shrink different things. So basically what I was starting with for the kneeboard, which I don't have it over here, I made it where I could strap it to my leg. I've got some cool quick locks that Sean made for me. He's been in the chat here before. Quick magnetic click on stracks for the legs. One that goes up to the belt, so even if you get out, it's not going to slide down. And then it's able to have a stainless pin that slides into it and locks in magnetically. It doesn't stick out, so you can have a pin to write down. It holds a Write in the Rain, like 3x5 flip card thing on the solid base. Then it also has a place for you to mount a quad lock, so you can run your phone or your iPad or whatever on that. Although it makes it very far forward, so you start getting into like some things happening with your cyclic. So I want to kind of move the quad lock base here to hold it not in the middle of the lap, but offset it some. Oh yeah, the Surge is heavy. I've got one of those. Yeah, so the knee board is cool, but also most people just buy a $10 or $15 Amazon knee board, or at the most they're spending like $40 on like the Lift Aviation one that's leather and it ties on. And at the end of the day, I am completely and utterly overcomplicating what I am doing. There is absolutely zero need for me to create a knee board of the caliber that I'm doing. The amount of people who are going to buy this as a product is none. Even if I was offering it, the main reason for that would be you have to have a specific pin that's magnetic and fits inside of it. It only takes this size note card thing, which most people don't even want the note card stuff. They're just going to do it on their iPad or their phone on ForeFlight anyways. You got to have quad lock to make it work. It's got really expensive straps that it uses with those types of whatever magnetic quick clips. On the forearm, then it's never in the way. Until I go like this and run it up underneath of the cyclic arm. At least on Robinson's then. But yeah, it's like I've made a very cool product. And it works cool. I do want to redo it one more time. Just to move the quad lock down here. And it's neat because it folds up out of the way and I can write stuff on the pen in a pen and pad and check stuff. Because even though like I have the phone that's there for me to look at Garmin or ForeFlight, whatever, and be like, okay, cool, this airport's frequencies are 119.725 or whatever it is. I have to click on it, then click on the airport, then click on where it says this, and then it shows me what it is. And it's like, I'd rather just look in my little notebook where I've scribbled it down beforehand because I knew I would be flying over it. Or I knew that was my destination airport, so it was already there. So like I enjoy having the little notepad there. That makes it nice. Yeah, and that was kind of my thought process too. Like, because for anybody that's just watching and not reading stuff, people buy that, keep your custom work for yourself, but offer it for sale anyway. Someone will like it. So yeah, that's true. That is something I have considered. That cool. Maybe find a way to optimize it a bit, make it like a kneeboard light, or just kneeboard extreme, because I'm making it as an extreme thing. A lot of wind coming from this direction. I'm watching my turn coordinator ball here, so I'm having to crab to the left to keep this right here in the center. Oh yeah, and a lot of real pilots do work off notepads, but also ForeFlight has a little notepad thing where you can just click a button and write on the top of that. But yeah, like, so there's different things that make mine good. There's different things that make mine bad. It's a bit clunkier, a bit bigger. When I was first designing it, do I still have I may have it down here in front of me. I'll pull up or grab once we land. But I had designed one that had a pull-out clipboard, so you could keep a sectional on your knee and do it as a paper sectional, which is great for students. But then also have the ability to slide it out, open the sectional, have a double wide sectional. That was part of my thought processes with that. Okay, after we go over this mountain, we'll start a little descent and work our way down. But that one ended up being big and bulky. Like, I was even experimenting with some carbon fiber stuff. Yeah, and it would be a modular-ish sort of thing, especially for phone mounts. That'd be the big thing, where it would be on the modular side. But it's also like my interest was very, very much there when I was going through my flight training. Now that I've got it, it's a little bit less there. I also feel like this would be very much a helicopter thing, So I was thinking of ways to make it very more helicopter pilot friendly, because airplane people, there's a bit more room in the cab, in the cockpit sometimes. They can run their iPad somewhere else, less vibrating. There's considerations for everything. And either way, it's just, if I never put it, or a derivative of it, on market, I still had a lot of fun designing it. I mean, I went through spools of filament doing it, trying different things, different ideas, figuring out what worked, what didn't work. In my mind, the slide out whatever thing was a great idea. Because a lot of times, or it used to be, DPEs and examiners did not want you to use your for-flight. If you were like in the checkout flights, they usually like, okay, cool, take off, and we're going to start traveling like we're going to on a cross-country thing, and they're like, okay, cool, diversion to somewhere else. And when he said the diversion, he gave me the ICAO code to the Roosevelt airport. And like, I didn't know what that ICAO code was. He was like, divert to KLM whatever, or whatever the name of that place was. And I was like, do you happen to know what the name of that airport is, or more where it's at? So that way I know where to look to orient myself, because I haven't memorized every single airport code. He goes, oh, that's Roosevelt. I was like, oh, okay, cool, down near Pine Mountain. Then I was able to scroll on the Garmin on my phone and get a direction, head that way. And they used to make you do that without your phone and make you do it on a sectional, which I asked him beforehand, and I was like, from what I understand, you'll throw a diversion on us, or on me. Are you a DPE that's okay with the use of navigation apps like Garmin or ForeFlight, or are you I need to have the sectional in there, which I have the sectional anyways in the little cubby pocket. I was like, but if I don't have to worry about getting that out in a Robinson R22, where I'm already kind of flying like this anyways because it's a fucking 22. He's like, no, you can use the app. That's fine. Apps are acceptable tools now. 10, 15 years ago, they weren't, though. Pine Mountain Airport has open houses May 9th. Oh, nice. What happened to the popcorn? I still like popcorn. I just kind of stopped eating it. So, for no reason, I stopped eating it just because I wasn't craving it anymore. So I kind of fell off doing the research on it. When I was eating it nightly, though, I was still heavily looking into it. I still have like 10 pounds of popcorn kernels from where I was trying all the different strains, families. The most professional, not even a single loop. You haven't been on all the streams then, have you? And this is a 407. It's got a rotor head that can handle it if we wanted to. When they do that, just tell them unable. I am in control of the aircraft. Check ride captains love it. Oh yeah, that's for sure. So, check ride captains love the assertiveness. No, like that's a big thing too. Like, know what you are capable of, what you can do. And I could be like, cool, I didn't plan for that. I also have Griffin here or Thomaston here. So those are both in that same direction if we're saying avoiding weather. But I think you wanted something where it's further off than just like 5 miles, where I could be like, oh, Griffin's 5 miles away. We're going to be going at like a 240 heading or whatever. Anyways, with that said, the assertiveness thing. So one of the guys that's a partial owner or something of the school that I used, his name is Joey. Joey is a man, he's maybe in his 50s. He's a pilot rated in just about anything you can imagine. I think the only thing he's not rated in is lighter than air and hot air balloon. So he's not airship certified and he's not lighter than air certified. So this is where we're picking up somebody from an industrial accident. We just got to figure out where. So with that said, he's got a lot of experience. He is extremely smart, and he is the type of person that will call the FAA out when they get something wrong in the FAR AIM. And it's like once or twice a year, whenever the new one comes out, he'll be like, hey, you changed this and you didn't word it right, so technically it makes everything illegal. And they will fix the book because of him many, many times. Ridiculously smart guy. Like, if you were to play a game of, like, try to know what the FAR AIM says, or not guess a rule, but know a rule, or know how something would apply, or whatever imaginary scenario, whatever, he will win. There's no question, he will win. And his game that he likes to play, because he still has to take check rides for being current and able to fly whatever jets and things that he does, type ratings and what have you. He likes to play fuck with the DPE. And he'll even tell you, he's like, I love fucking with the DPE. He's like, if they don't ask me exactly the question to get exactly the answer, he's like, I'm not going to give it to them. And he's like, I've seen so many DPEs lose their shit because they don't know how to ask the question. And we're going to land right here in this main center area for them. So one of them, it was like a Challenger or something like that, some sort of nice private jet. And I want to say this was like a fire extinguisher bottle or something like that. And what the DPE was trying to ask was, like, what things in manufacturing made it where the fire suppression bottle or extinguisher or whatever is only rated for 1600 psi, or why can't you go below that number? And like the answer he was looking for was like, oh, the system was created to flow at this amount, or the bottle or the lines were only created to flow at this amount or this amount of pressure. And if it's not that, it's not going to function correctly. And the DPE didn't know how to ask that question. So he was like, so if you get into a plane and you see that the fire bottle or whatever is at 1200 psi, it's supposed to be 16, why couldn't you fly it? And he's just like, because the sticker says I'm not allowed to, because on the sticker it says do not let go below X amount psi. Struggles of the rich. Yeah, he does good for himself, but he's also a fucking fancy ass pilot. And he wears a co-pilot rabbit on the dash named Maverick. Oh, we still have the dude in here from the last time. I never let him out of the hospital, so we still have 220 pounds here. We're just going to keep doing our thing. So takeoff, hover checks, everything looks good. NG's temperatures, torque at 50%. So we're good. We came in behind us, so we're going to take off behind us. And you do that because, one, I know this is clear. I know I came into here in a clear way and I didn't crash on the way in. So I'm going to get out the same way that I got in, by coming in with this intersection in my little foot window down here. Also, if I were to lose an engine right now, I could lean forward into an auto and push into that. But we're not going to do that. So now that we're here, we're going to I assume this is a hospital? Yeah. Direct to... And we'll make a call for the Bravo when we get up there as well. But anyway, the guy was like, okay, cool. So, yeah, the sticker says that. So he's like, cool. So are you going, like, why wouldn't you fly? And he's like, yeah, because the sticker says I'm not allowed to. He goes, well, what if it was at like 1400 psi? He's like, well, the sticker says 12 or 1600, so I'm not going to fly it. And apparently it was like 10 times that this guy asked. And he's like, what am I doing? And he's like, are you trying to ask why it was at whatever? And he corrected him that way. And it's, like I said, his game is just fuck with the DPE. He said it's so funny. It seems simple to me, but if it works at 1600 and if it's 12,000, it's not going to be enough. Yeah, exactly. And the guy was like trying to get him to say it in that specific way. So when, like, don't give them any more information, which that is a fault for me. That is one thing that I am not good at. I enjoy talking. Why else would I be sitting here on the computer with a VR headset on, hello, flying a flight simulator talking for hours? It's because I like to talk. So that works out for me. With that said, though, that's not a good thing to do when you're, they bend the airspace around this highway. That's cool. So I literally don't have to fly over these mountains. I can be more over the highway. Below a certain level, that would be good. Okay, interesting. But it's like if the DPE ask about a minimum equipment list or something like that, I can be like, oh yeah, it's tomato flames, where it's like tachometer, airspeed, and I talk about that, but then I'm like, but that's completely different than like a which I even don't even remember the name for it, but when you're flying for somebody commercially, you can have a specific list that's specific to your mission. So if you're just doing long line stuff with an MD500, like, cool, maybe you don't need to have an airspeed indicator, which that'd be stupid, but like you could be like, cool, I don't need this and I can operate without it. Because there's a manufacturer equipment list, or minimum equipment list, and then there's that one, and anyways, blah, 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 blah. So I could bring up the acronym for that. Yo, Helicopter King, what's going on, dude? Good to see you. So yeah, I could bring up that list, and he'd be like, oh, cool, well, explain that more to me. And with me not being as up to speed on that list, I just dug myself a hole. I gave myself a problem because I was talking about something that I wasn't prompted about. So Joey, he's big on that. He's like, I'm only going to give them exactly what they're looking for. If they ask for 1 + 1, and you say 2 and number, like, oh yeah, cool, and 2 + 2 is 4. They're like, oh, sick, well, what's 54,663 plus 15? And like, oh, fuck, now I gotta do extra math, and I forgot the number you said already. So, yeah, Joey, super cool guy, super smart. That's over there, Apollo. Oh, just so you know, Mr. Helicopter King, we are sitting here in a Bell 407. We're just kind of generally playing medical stuff right now. I think after I drop this medical patient, I'm going to go do some autos up at Sky Park. Yeah, I just wanted to fly some now. Also to say, hopefully, starting next week, the show that I'm working on now finishes this week. As in April 2nd, I believe. Whenever the show is finished filming, I will then be allowed much more free time to do stuff on my own, much like flying the helicopter simulator. So the Around the World series will be starting back consistently in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. So that's something for everybody to look forward to, although I will say the first few episodes, once we start going again, will be early shift, just so I can get us more over towards Middle East, Europe, and out of India, and out of this weird time zone where we're like directly across the world. Doesn't work out right. Once we get somewhere that's a bit more friendly, where I can stream at noon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever it is, it's also more conducive to viewers being in here and people to talk to. Yeah. So let's do a call to Salt Lake Center. Salt Lake approach, helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey. Medical, Medevac 1 is 7 miles to the southeast at whatever 1,000 feet with a request. Okay, we have a request. Medical helicopter, we're looking to land at UT-98. We can head up directly outside the Bravo and turn in at the last second if that works with you. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, whatever, helicopter, whatever. Clear to enter Bravo when you are east of your landing zone. Okay, cool. And that's where we're going to go. I see Hotus Mod. That's a Force. I'm a bit tuned, but I had to answer your math question. But you forgot the big number. Oh yeah, dude, I need water. I can feel it in my voice already. Plus, I was screaming a bit earlier today. I was making a funny video for some friends, so my voice is feeling that. In VT, is that like kind of more cartoony war game that Drewski plays? Yeah, they have it where it's set up in controls. That'd be sick. I don't know how I would do just holding VR controllers going into it. That would be a weird thing for me. But like I'm good with these. Like these here, like no big deal. Like, oh man, sharp turn, come in, do whatever. Like, yeah, I can do all that. But oh, also speaking about sharp turn stuff, somehow I made the tail rotor leave a 500 the other day when I was flying, which we may try to do that actually. What we'll do, we'll drop off this patient up here. And I'm going to spawn back into the MD 500C with floats from Tauk's hangar, and somehow I lost the tail rotor. Gone. Not there. And I was going to land, and I kept rotating no matter how much pedal I did. And I was like, okay, cool, maybe I'm coming in too fast. And I'm asking too much torque from it, and but gauges were fine. So it was super, super strange. I couldn't understand why it was just hating me that way. Then I went third person and had no tail rotor. So I was able to like get moving forward because it kept doing it to me. So I was able to get some like forward movement and stuff with it, so I could use the tail or the vertical to keep me stabilized and flying. And then I did an auto down because if you have a tail rotor failure, you use an auto rotation because you're not putting torque through the system. You kind of do like an auto into like a bit of a run-on landing. But yeah, I was baffled on how the hell my tail rotor fall off. I use hand controls because you use the buttons, you need sticks for fun, for FDS for shooting. Interesting. Well, it's like I can use switches here, so like whenever I'm doing shit, like cool, generator off, generator on, and depending on the model of the plane, they tend to work better or worse. The big thing with me is like I've got Robinson controls here, so I would have to be very particular about my mapping of weapons and usage and stuff. And I'm sure there's going to be comm setups to where you can do talk to your other teammates, squad mates, whatever. So I would have to be very particular about how I'm mapping all my buttons out and binding those. Yeah, I think we can grab the after we drop our guy off here, I think we're going to grab the 500 and see if I can slap the tail rotor off of it again somehow. Like I said, I have no idea how it happened. And we've been given permission to enter the imaginary permission to enter the real Bravo. Crossing over this bridge up here. We're going to go ahead and turn in here. Start losing our altitude coming in. It's like if they allow any sort of external things, where even if it's not a HOTAS, just a controller of sorts, then I'd be good. I'm not sure if the Discord link works. I'll check that. But if you go to the main channel, I think I have a Discord linked to it. Do that real quick. Let me know. If not, I'll give you a Discord link. I've got a server. There's like 4 of us in there. We just kind of like plain spot or whatever. But that's where I'm at usually, or I'll just give you my Discord name and you can DM me if you're already in too many servers and you don't want another one. Which I completely understand also. Okay, we're coming in here to our landing spot. Don't know what this place looks like. I'm just going to assume it's a hospital. They have a landing pad, so why not? Looks like a hospital to me. Very small hospital. But I've heard they have a great trauma center for people that are in industrial accidents, like the one that we are allegedly picking up. And now we do a painfully slow, steep approach in. Power management's good. We're at 50% torque, so we've got enough to let us in there slowly. Keeping it in my window there, descending a little fast. We'll arrest that a little bit with our collective in the left hand. Move her on down. It's a very air evac style approach. Their whole thing is like painfully slow. Like the guy's already getting a VIP treatment, getting rushed in here with a helicopter. Spending an extra minute landing safely is not going to be the life and death thing. And we're going to turn 90 degrees here. Helicopter King, if you're still in here, aren't you bummed that you didn't go inside the convention and get to see the 214 ST? They also had a completely stripped airframe because they're starting to produce those from the ground up. Brand new. Okay, cool. Let's see. Escape. We're going to hop out of here. End flight. Oh yeah, I've seen Drewski doing it with the with the displays where you can see through the aircraft, or like you're seeing everything around you. Dude, some of the Apache gunner stuff is wild how it works. So I'm gonna come here to home airport just because I know it better. We're gonna go to the 500C. Oh yeah, I was gonna give you Discord. Copy link, maybe? Let's see, YouTube channel. Okay, I put a new Discord link on the YouTube thing. So you can hop in there, join the Discord, and at least add me, and then we can talk about the whatever stuff. And if you don't want to be in the Discord and you just wanted to make that an easy way to get at me, then that works too. No skin off my teeth. Saving back, sure. We're gonna fly local. Yeah, it was neat in the show, but there was definitely no action. So you definitely got the better end of getting to see things. Let's see. Welcome to the McDonnell Douglas MD-500C. We have floats. And somehow today, don't know how, I don't want you to be there anymore. I don't know how you came off last time, but somehow I lost my tail rotor last time I flew. So we'll see what we can do. So Shift C, get in here. It's feeling straight enough. See, I can scoot back a little bit, maybe. Alt. Back. A little bit right. Sick. So we have a battery and stuff over here somewhere. Down there, battery on, everything's turning on. Starting fuel pump there. Got my throttle down, governor off, don't want it taking off on me. Controls free and clear. I'm going to go ahead, flick the strobes or anti-collisions on there so nobody walks into us. And that means I can also do ignition on. I'm going to click the starter button. We hear it moving. Do I need to hold you down? Yeah, I gotta hold this one down. Some helicopters are different than others. We have light off. But we will continue holding this until it gets to like over that red line, so like 58% on the N1 gauge, which is the far left bottom gauge. It did not overheat during any of that, so that's sick. So now we're over that. I can let go of the igniter or the starter. Generator can go on, pitot heater on, position lights on. Utility power, don't care. Horn will keep going off for a second while we're working our rotor RPM up. We're not going to over torque the engine while we're doing that. Yeah, my blinkers are on. Why'd you... Dude, some of these freaking people are horrible about walking into the helicopter. And there we go. We're in the RPM there. Start pump can go off. Are y'all okay with the sound and me talking because this is a louder helicopter? I can put the doors on and that will make it quieter. But you guys let me know. If I need to add doors, I'll add doors. Oh yeah, that sounds good. Still got a rotor back there. How did I lose my tail rotor last time? Feel the wind. Wind's coming from like 070 direction. The only reason I know that is because I check METAR around the time that I have this set in game. Because me and my dad were out and about today, and we were talking about how nice of a day it was, and how it'd be a nice day to fly. But it said we had like 10 knot wind at 070, and we really didn't feel it, and then we're like, oh, wait a second, there it is. Dude, a Chinook camper would be sick. Like RV Chinook. Also, are you a 500C person or just 500s in general? Okay, so here we can see the light outline of the tail rotor there. How do I make the tail rotor fall off? That's the question. Like, left pedal, power pedal. So I could like do a... I don't think that would be enough to get rid of it because it's still there. Yeah, like it kind of blowy, but like, I guess some areas it just wasn't. Saw the devil across the runway. Oh, like a dust devil. And being a dude you like fast. Yep, I got you. So 500C would be this one here. 500C, you're looking at the round nose being the main defining feature. There's also a 4-blade rotor. You go to the 500E, that's the pointy nose 5-blade rotor. Tail's a little bit different design as well. And I want to say the 500E has a little bit more power, but I'm not a big expert on engine differences between all of them. Now, with that being said, MD is coming out with, I'll call them hot rod kits, hot rod STCs. Now, like if you have a Chevrolet Chevelle, you can swap and it's, or let's say a Camaro with like an old 305 in it, so a smaller, more anemic V8 engine. You could swap in a 350 or a 3-stroker, or you could get a big block in there. Anyways, they're coming out with a whole bunch of STCs, which are modifications that are approved for you to do to an aircraft through the FAA, supplemental type certificate. They're coming out with STCs for you to do engine upgrades and blade upgrades and nose changes and stuff, since all the stuff's there anyways. So they're just kind of giving owners the ability to do whatever. On the mass chopper, I think I have a 47G in the garage. That's the mass chopper. But with the 47G, it's one that's by Fly Inside, and something's weird with the way that the flight sim classifies their aircraft, and it's classified as an airplane, I think. So like the controls don't work right. I don't know why. Whereas like throttle is pitch, and it's a whole bunch of weird shit, and you have to like reprogram it. I just have not put the time in yet to reprogram. NOTAR is sick. I love the way NOTAR sound. 600N is, I don't want to say my dream helicopter, but it is the helicopter on the background of my phone. But I do know people who have flown the NOTARs, and they say, cool, it's mushy, so you don't get as much authority with it. There's a bit more failure rate with them, but then you could also be like, oh man, well what if you want to land somewhere and there's a lot of bushes and stuff, and you can like back into a tree or a bush a little bit. It's like, cool, your main rotor blade goes to right here anyways. You're gaining 1 foot of backing into a tree for what reason? So like, I understand where they're coming from. But also, I understand what makes my pee-pee move whenever I hear one fly by. So, with that said, I would still buy a 600N if I won the lottery, and I'd have it completely revamped and overhauled and fresh up on everything. Yeah, and the tail rotor authority is a big thing too. Like, especially if you're doing any sort of like heavy lifting, that's a big thing. You want to be able to have that tail rotor authority there. The tail rotor authority is good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, they say it's there, like it can turn and fight the wind or whatever. But you know, it's with it not being as drastic and immediate, that's the problem. So totally you're still working here. So yeah, we're gonna come down here to the lake. This is where I lost it last time. I'm just trying to repeat what happened. So the tail rotor there. Wind's coming from the right, that's for sure. I can feel it. When I'm trying to fly straight, I've got full left pedal here, and it's just, I've got to take torque off the system for it to do anything. Because if I add the torque that I need to keep up the speed, it's going to turn me too much to the right. I'm curious if I do like a slowdown, and I maybe dip the tail into the water, if it will crash me. So what I'm going to try to do is do like an auto rotation, or like a quick stop just over the water down here. And the reason I like flying this lake, I have a friend who lives on this lake, and I dream of the time that I can fly and pick him up from the dock, which I think would be sick. Also, I'm pretty sure this is a guy named Rich's house right here. Yeah. A little bit more speed in here. Nope. Let's just see if we can land if it doesn't anything. Nope, tail rotor still exists. I'll lean you back some. Helicopter's not like me right now, but I still have a tail rotor. So we'll try some aggressive flight and see if we can get it to break off somehow. Still there. I wonder if I can back it into the building slowly. So we'll try it on. This is one house I do want to land at. I don't know who lives here. I've told them, like, hey, if you can get me in contact with them to where I can have permission just to land on this little peninsula, that would be sick. Okay, how close am I? Do a roll? Yeah, we'll do a roll. Like, brakes in the car, prefer more brakes than I need. Very good component. Oh, that one, the helicopter king who's in here. He had a really, really good shot of that when it happened. It was a tail rotor pitch link. From everything that people have been able to figure out right now, a pitch link broke off. Fine. Yeah, that was a Bell 222 Bravo retractable gear. The U, or the UT, is a skidded version of that. Man, why can't I lose my tail rotor? Maybe this over here. Bucket now. This doesn't have a bandy bucket. Oh, I do. Let's steal some water. So we do a roll with a full bandy bucket. Yeah, he flew out there just for that event, actually. Yeah, we actually have the Bell 222 Bravo in our garage here. So we'll after we fuck around with this, I keep trying to lose the. So I don't know how long the bandy bucket is, so I really don't know how much. Oh, I can go down more. I didn't know how long the rope was for it. Just grab me. Thanks for that. A lot more torque. Look at it go. There we go. That's more. Let's go forward. And we'll do a hot pickup on some water here. There's a fire. Down, arrest descent, level off. Should feel the helicopter fight me once it gets it, just because it's adding weight. I think that was it there. Sorry for the wobbliness, my chair actually messed up. I'm sitting in. I wasn't dropping that. Oh well. Why can't I lose my tail rotor? Hey, we gotta do a roll on this thing before we go to the 222. Realistic damage. Okay, so for a roll, we're gonna get a little bit of speed up here, throw our torque as high as we want it to go. We're going to get up to the speed there, pick like a 45-degree angle thing, and then pull back. Somehow I still have a tail rotor, even though I was flying completely normally the other day. And it fell off on me. People in the cockpit were fine as far as I know. I didn't really get any follow-ups on injuries on that. I haven't looked into it. As far as I know, like, people came out relatively unscathed for how bad it looked. I'm doing an auto now just because the title says autos. So, 60 knot. Still have a tail rotor. Unbelievable. Way to make me seem like a liar. Bravo, thank you. Let's see. 222 Bravo, let's go to Long Beach. Now, I don't know exactly where. I think it was in Huntington Beach. That looks like that might be it. Yeah, because they had the bridge over, so I think this is where it happened. We'll take off from John Wayne. Perfect. Don't want a helipad. I want to do 222 Bravo. That bad boy right there. Save it back. Make it daytime. Off we go. We'll land the 222 with wheels. I wish I'd got the tail rotor to fall off. I really wanted to mess with the loss of tail rotor effectiveness stuff, but I have no idea how it happened last time. Realistic damage was turned on, but I didn't do anything weird. I didn't do, like, literally I took off from one airport south of where we took off this last time and flew up to the same lake. Because a lot of times I like to do stuff like recreating my commute or going to a friend's house just so that way I can see, like, how much time I could save if I had my own helicopter. So yeah, here's the Bell 222 Bravo. It's a twin-engine retractable gear luxury helicopter. Imagine this as a luxury Huey with wheels. It's almost how you can imagine it. Nope, not what I wanted. Not what I wanted. There we go. And Shift C gets us in there. Sitting way back in the seat, so we need to scoot ourselves forward. A little bit short, so scoot ourselves up some. First things first, let's get a battery on so we can see what's going on in here. I've got those anti-collision lights. Fuel valve on. Fuel valve on. Fuel prime, fuel prime. Those are all closed. They have lights on so they know. I'm not turning the most smoking sign on. You guys feel free to light it up. Let's see. All that's good. All that's good. Lights. Inverter. All that stuff can stay off right now. So I'm going to use my mouse here. Just because I don't know how to do the different levels of left and right on these switches here. Let's go and get these turning on while we can. We'll just do the up twist there, so that's number 2. So next we'll do down. So what we're watching, we have engine number 2 starting. You can see it here. Engine's going up. Temperature went up. It's monitoring itself. Blades are going. It's good. Gonna let it get a little bit more. Okay, it's in the green. Generator 2 on. So I say down. And there we go. So now engine number 1, same thing. We're going to be watching our gauges over here. And once it gets to green, we'll be good there. Polarization, no. Okay, that's in the green now. Those are good. Get rid of that. Slowly bring ourselves up. And throttle, using my collective, it's mapped to where it handles both throttles. As you can see, there's 2 throttles on our collective here. We're watching our main RPM and rotor RPM pick up here. Flick the governor there. And while this helicopter shouldn't have to worry about that, I do keep the governor switch off while I'm rolling up a turbine helicopter and turn it on once it reaches the right place. A lot of them will manage themselves, but the way the game kind of does shit, I don't want to risk it. So brakes are off. We're ready to taxi and go around now, as you can see. And I'm not going to make any calls because I don't care. That one just took off. So the next one hasn't taken off yet. Boss Baby here's landing. Sorry, Boss Baby. Just nail your landing and I'll be good. Or even in. Okay, cool. Now that we got some speed, we can put landing gear up. And we are good to go. Look at this sexy helicopter. Good load. This would be one that I would be interested. Let's land it like a plane first real quick while we're here. Also, weather is crap out here today. I don't see anybody else close like they're on the final or anything. So I'm going to slow ourselves down. We're going to want like 60 knots or so before we can throw the gear out. We'll let the turn be a slowdown for us here. I'm going to mark the gear down. It will say unsafe right now. Once I get below the certain threshold of airspeed, it will correct itself out and drop it for me. There we go. Got 3 in the green. Bringing this girl in like an airplane, but then we're going to go fly over to Huntington Beach and do some passes like they were doing on the Cars and Copters, I think is what it's called. It's so weird with a helicopter landing like this. It's just anti-intuitive. which is about how you would do like a loss of tail rotor effectiveness or stuck pedal or something. You would do it about that way. But anyways, back in the air we go. Easy peasy. Anyways, off we go. Yeah, landing gear up. I'm well aware. Well aware that my landing gear is up. Good visibility here. If you're a basketball player, great time to fly. Especially in a retractable gear helicopter. Which is what, 3 miles of visibility? Kind of shit. Right at the limit of what you want to be in. We're going to get south of our nav line here so we can go north up the beach to where we're going. I wonder how high this layer is. I kind of want to go up through it. Yeah, we got time. Might as well go a little over-torqued IMC there. I can see blue sky up there. It looks like it's a relatively thick layer that we have to go through to get to it. There we go, a little breakout. Okay, but anyways, now that we're through the scary part, let's go back down through this hole. Okay, so the cars and copters, what the, I think it's this barren ass place. So the cars and copters helicopter incident happened in 2025. I believe it was 25. Yeah, it had to have been. 2025, it was a Bell 222 Bravo. I forget the tail number for it, but it more or less this right here. And what happened is one of the links that help control the pitch on your tail here, so there's two of those, one for each blade, it's a two-bladed tail rotor. One of those tail rotor pitch links happened to stop being connected. So it created an uneven and about half power lift with the tail rotor. I believe there's two on this helicopter. I believe. Depending on designs, different things. Sometimes there can be 2 or 1 or 4 or whatever. But I believe there's 2 on this helicopter. Which we can even do a shutdown after we finish here just to see. With that said, though, the pitch link was gone. One of the pitch links was gone. So only, and from what I'm understanding, with this being a 2 pitch link rear, that made it where only one blade was offering any sort of thrust to the side while the other one was just kind of like dead flopping. So yeah, this was the place here. And they came down here and did like a low pass. Look at us showing off to the restaurant. Because there's people up there watching from what I assume, what I understand. And you can't do any like huge maneuvers with this thing because it still is an underslung rotor system, so you can do, or you could be subject to mast bumping, so you have to be careful with that. But anyways, I believe they were still coming back from the south coming in. Which anybody feel free to correct me. I believe they were coming back in from the south, and their tail rotor was only providing half of the... Shut up, stop beeping at me. Their tail rotor was only providing half of the thrust that it usually does to one direction. With that also, it would create a vibration because it would be an uneven thrust. So, if you can see here, I'm going to kind of establish myself in a hover. Slow ourselves down here. And as you can imagine, the spinning of a rotor on top of the helicopter creates a good bit of torque on the entire body itself. So when you add collective to slow yourself down, it will turn the helicopter one direction. If you're doing a super, super slow and even approach, which I'll do into the beach here, like a normal safe approach, you're really not putting much work with your feet in, which is how you manage the left and right rotation of the helicopter. You kind of set it and forget it. And you don't have to do much, if any, adjustments as you're going in. Because more or less here at this point, I can just set my power level and just slowly come down. If I'm not adding any more torque to the system, I don't need to change my pedal input. So here, maybe just a little left. Since I'm not adding torque, I don't need to really add any anti-torque. But with that said, if you're coming in hot and heavy, you're more or less doing what's considered a quick stop. And let's say I'm hitting for this circle right here. If I'm coming in at this speed, which is 60 miles an hour, I'm having to put a lot of pedal in and a lot of pedal work to keep myself going in the way that I need to. And when I'm getting down low and I'm having to add a lot of collective to keep myself from hitting, I'm having to catch myself from using all that collective. So, you move all that together and you put it into one bad situation of a failed pitch link, which I still don't know if they know that it happened or if they were just coming in. And also when you're coming in for a steep approach, you're going to be using a lot more power coming in because you don't have good effective airflow over the rotors. So when he's coming in here and he's having to ask for a lot of torque or a lot of anti-torque to fight the torque, it may make it to where his helicopter is going to start rotating this way and he can't control it. So there's two ways to fix this. One is you realize what's happening and you enter in auto rotation. And for those of you that are unaware, in auto rotations, if you lose an engine, you can glide yourself to the ground and make a safe landing. He wasn't really in a place to do an auto rotation. He didn't have the airspeed and he was at a low altitude. It's not a good spot in the height velocity diagram, but it's something that you do have to touch whenever you are doing steep approaches. It's part of helicopters and helicoptering. The other thing you can do is continue flight. And the reason I say that is if your tail rotor's not working, it keeps you from going too far left or too far right as far as you're rotating. You have a thing called a vertical stabilizer on the back of the helicopter, which is this bad boy right here. And if you're going at a certain speed, And that vertical stabilizer will keep you more or less pointed in the right direction. So his two options were auto rotation or get speed. Well, when you're in such a weird, bad position, like over a parking lot with people and spectators around everywhere, you're in a really, really bad spot. If he had no issues, it'd be a good spot, but there was a failure, and I don't know if he knew about it. So you start losing your tail rotor authority here, and you say, crap, I'm not able to control what's happening because I don't have enough. So you could work on peeling out, or what I'll do here, I'll give myself a stuck right pedal. So I want to put us in like a 10 RPM right hand spin. So we'll even ourselves back over here as we're doing this approach in, and I'll give us a good handful of right pedal, and I'm going to stop touching it with my feet. So we're coming in and right pedal. So there, now I can't do anything. I'm stuck with this. And you see there's nothing I can do there at that point. I have to give left pedal to get out of it. But the left pedal wasn't there. I guarantee you his foot was buried to the left and there was nothing he could do. If you were somewhere where maybe you had some more airspeed or you were doing a normal approach, so here's the same amount of pedal. See if I can get some actual airspeed here. So I've got full right pedal right now, but I'm able to keep us moving in a pretty safe direction. And now if I were to lose torque, it'll keep bringing me over, but there would be less from that because there would be a failure. That'd be more of a failure of this tail rotor, not a stuck pedal. Hard to replicate without being able to just turn the tail rotor off here. But anyways, short story long, he did not have a lot of outs in this area. There's not a lot he could have done. So yeah, on that approach coming in, helicopter starts spinning to the right, and it will reach an uncontrollable amount. I think there might be a way to save it, but it's such an unconventional way that I don't think it would work. So again, coming in here, stuck right pedal. When he adds torque, it's going to take him way up, which you'll see him do that. But then he turns the engines off. And that was a hard landing, but it was still, I don't want to say it wasn't bad, but I mean, it sucked. Fuel tank interconnect, don't care. And for those of you curious of what my solution there was, let me get back up to like a usable altitude for this. So stuck right pedal. You're going to go down, you're going to crash. Add yourself a lot of altitude there real quick. Throttle off, that gets rid of the torque. And then you can try to push yourself forward. You can try. Probably won't work, but you can try to push yourself forward. And get some sort of forward airspeed. And then maybe auto-rotate. But the big reason for doing that, and adding that huge amount of upspin, which, if you just have like a little bit of right here, it's not end of the world. You can maybe push your way out of it, but it's not really a thing. And I put left pedal in right there to fix that, which they didn't have. But the real solution is forward airspeed. You don't have the room to get forward airspeed there because you would be pushing forward, and pushing forward would take you down. You can't add power because add power makes the problem worse. Shit situation all the way around. If it was something they had realized as they were flying, they could have went back and done a running landing, and they would have just been out in appearance. And a couple of hundred, maybe a couple of $1,000. But yeah, shit situation all around. I hate that it happened. The 222 Bravo is one of my favorite helicopters. It's one of the ones where if I were to win the lottery, I would definitely be trying to get one. See, here it's me trying to catch that without touching my pedals. So it's possible, but you see how much room I use there, and I was already much higher in the air than they were. They're much more experienced than me as well, and I'm also here in the zero repercussion machine, so I can do that. Hit the ground 30 fucking times. And not have to worry about, oop, died on this one, died on this one. Airwolf, right? Shut up. Need your negativity. I know I'm flying low. And now I'm existing specifically to harass vehicles. Wrong way driver. This is how police helicopters fly, if anybody's curious. Please turn. Yep. So yeah, that's the Bell 222 Bravo incident of Cars and Copters 2025. And there's a lot of people that were bringing up shit like, oh, why was he flying so low? Why was he landing near people? It was a show where you fly in helicopters to land and treat it like a car show with a whole bunch of cars at a car show. So that was also just a lack of knowledge from people who are not in the car or helicopter realm and didn't know that such car shows exist. So it's one of those things where you hate to see people talk shit about a scenario when you know there is nothing going wrong. Where's John Wayne? We gotta go back this way. So it's like, I know there's nothing wrong, and there's a lot of things that I see like that online. I'm chronically watching different helicopter videos and such. So I see a lot of people comment and say stupid stuff. Recent one was a Bell 407 police sheriff's helicopter rescuing a dog out of a river, lake, reservoir, somewhere. And a lot of people are saying like, "Oh, cool! That's what I want my tax dollars doing." Yeah. But people also don't. There's a lot of people that were also under the assumption that the helicopter was dispatched specifically for the rescue of this dog, which was not the case. I go through an extremely abbreviated startup procedure here because, once again, zero repercussion machine. These machines only cost me $20 to buy this version of it for the game. But when it comes to the real ones, they're millions of dollars. If you have a hot start, if you move before the temperatures are where they need to, you can cause a lot of damage. And if you don't cause a lot of damage, you can still cause a lot of money in inspections that have to be done because you ran the helicopter, in a non-optimal scenario. So anyways, this Bell 407 sheriff's helicopter, they got down to skid height above the water, and they rescued a dog out of it, where the co-pilot walked backwards on the skids, had himself latched in, reached down, got the dog, put in the back. They took it to a nearby parking lot, saved the day. Whoop-de-doo. Good to hear. Legitimately makes me happy to see. And there are a lot of people in the comments that are like, Oh man, wow, that's a lot of tax resources, and to save a dog, why not just jump in and save it? So the person who called it in told the police that they were just going to jump in and save it. The police said no, because the water was like 38 degrees, 40 degrees, hypothermia territory. Also, to know about would be, excuse me, I'm putting my landing gear down. Also, something to note, when they put that call out, the sheriff's helicopter happened to be about a mile away. Not on the ground, in the air, already on patrol. The helicopters really aren't sent up for scenario-specific stuff, unless it happens to be like a fire or a hostage thing, or something where there's plenty of time for the helicopter itself to, you know, get in, spool up, get ready, and not be rushed to be in a responding manner. I have wheels, what am I doing? So what happened is this helicopter was already in the air with an experienced pilot, an experienced co-pilot who both talked it out and said, okay, cool, we're gonna go check it out since we're here in the area. And actually I want to get out and check pitch links on this. Roll that down. And we're going to shut that off. And they saw the dog. They said, okay, cool. There's no way anybody could swim out here in time. We're going to do the skid walk and we're going to get the dog out. So the helicopter was able to be on scene in about a minute because it was already in the air. And it's just them doing something that if they were driving by in the car, they would have done. They just happened to be in the helicopter doing nothing because the majority of the time that a police helicopter's up, it's just kind of circling shit, keeping a watchful eye in the sky. So why not go through and do a little save the day scenario, you know? Idle stops work here. We shall see. But I'll tell you what does work. Fuel valves. Parking brake is on. Cool, cool, cool. So we're going to hop out real quick and check out the tail rotor. Let it slow down. And these things are modeled pretty well, so. Also, I like the fact that they have this like helicopter spot here. Kinda sick. So slow down look like here. So yeah, there was just helicopter people doing helicopter things, being cool guys. So good for them. I'll throw some pitch at this real quick. Okay. Off. Shift C. Hey, see you later, Frontier 4592. So let's see how accurate the rear of this is. Okay, yeah. So it was one of these two angular pieces here, one for each blade. Sometimes it just does the plate itself, the plate moves. But it was spinning with it, if I remember correctly in the video. So either this pitch link here, which don't worry about where the laser's going, just look at the pointer. This pitch link here failed, or this one here failed. And that caused one of these to lose its ability to pitch, giving it effectively half of the torque that it needed at any given pedal setting. Also ridiculous vibrations, and that also could have meant the other one could have broken too. You know, it could have been something here that broke. I don't think anything up here broke, because that would have been more catastrophic to the tail rotor assembly itself. I think just one of those broke. Because this here doesn't spin with it. There's a little swash plate there that takes care of that. Anyways. Oh. Let's see, how long have we been going here? See a few people popping back in. Welcome back. We just kind of went over the Bell 222 crash that happened. Yapped about the 407 dog rescue the other day. I downloaded an update thing to maybe make these work. So let me see if I can make the 47 work. Do the MASH livery since that was mentioned earlier. Could go to Vietnam, but I'm just going to go to home territory because that's where I'm happy at. And for anybody curious, the fly-in side helicopters, because they make a 206, 407, and I think some other stuff too. There was something wrong where Microsoft Flight Simulator was classifying them as an airplane. So, oh, why are my rotors spinning? Why am I facing the wrong way? What? What in the stupid is this? Oh. There we go, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So let's see. Battery on. Avionics master, don't care. Fuel prime. See, that's carb air mixtures. Beacon, don't care. Turn that off. Some governor down there. Strobe lights, nav lights, instrument lights off. That's an alternator there. I want to say there's like a button or a switch back here on one that we have at the school. I don't see it there. Okay, cool. I'm just going to assume the starter's down here. Turn on and turn off. Oh, okay. Is this a fuel lever? Maybe. No. Okay, let's see. Is there a fuel shut-off valve that I need to worry about? Also, before I do that, Shift C. Make sure there's no outside check things first. I literally don't know with this helicopter. No idea. Fly over to in this thing. It'll take 6 years. Let's see that. Fuel prime. Is there a fuel pressure gauge? Why aren't you starting? What? Oh. That's probably it. Okay, so that's a fuel shutoff valve there. Okay. Got it. Forgot magnetos. Oh. I'm not going to turn the governor on until I get the rotor up to speed. Because I also still don't know if this helicopter is going to work appropriately because of past issues with the fly inside models. Needles are matched. Okay, now what I do want to do is make this thing fucking heavier. Let's see. You got 2 people in here and we're at 81% fuel and it's near max. So apparently this thing auto is really ew. Pedals don't work. This works. And the pedal animation doesn't work. Okay, I'm just getting it off the ground now to see if I actually have pedal control of anything, which I don't appear to. My pedals are doing nothing. No. Cool. So my pedals are doing nothing. Settings, controls. Let's see, R44. Let's see, rudder. There we go. Okay. Feel wobbly. Okay. My first time trying to fly. Okay, Set you down real quick. I've noticed that with fly-inside models where they're just kind of way different than the other ones. Even like the fly-inside 206 is way different than the Cowan Sim 206. Okay, so that was a lot of forward stick I needed there. I don't know, I feel like they're not this wobbly in person. Okay, we'll do some normal flying and kind of get myself into it that way. Also, it does not have this much power. That is a damn lie. So we'll get into it with some, like, taxi sort of things. But this thing is very... very sensitive on the cyclic. And y'all are watching this with me live. This is my first time flying this model. I bought it back when the Bell 40 or the Bell 47 model didn't work right. Which way is the wind blowing? I'll come over here next to the windsock so I can watch it. Which that may explain the moving back a good bit over there upon takeoff. Easy, girl, goodness. This thing's very weirdly balanced. Let's put you down. Weird jump, okay. Strange. Very strange. I don't know what to think, honestly. I've heard this is like a very good auto-rotation model for the game, at least. So we'll try that. But it's very swingy, which is weird. Like with a... Okay. Like with the Robinsons, I expect the swingy because the rotor head's so high above you, like you're hanging from a string. This one, it feels very stringy, but swingy, sorry. But like not for any good reason. Give ourselves some altitude up here. Turn into it. We'll be getting a good headwind here, about 10 knots or so. And also these things are slow and nowhere near as much power as this thing has right there. Of course, I was just asking a lot for it there, so I'm actually below optimal engine RPM. So auto rotation in 3, 2, 1. I need to take my mouse. the governor there. Goodness, why are you so fucking wobbly, bud? I know I had the stability settings on fucking low, but... yeah, this is... strange. Let's go over to the pad. Learn how to hover pad. Because you know what I need to do? I need to learn how to hover this damn thing. Like I'm into the wind right there. There should be no reason. Here, give us the best shot. Because the sock is pretty stiff over there. Clear skies, wind. 0. Now there's no wind. I guess the wind just does fade this thing a lot. Weird shape. I don't know. Also, I feel like I'm much more far forward in my cyclic usage. Yeah, this thing's very susceptible to the wind, at least in whatever their model is. We'll do a walk around the pad real quick. Yeah, this thing definitely feels way different than all the other models. Which I enjoy because it's not just get in and fly, so it gives me something more to focus on. But also, it's like, why is it so different? Why is it so touchy? I mean, like y'all are watching what my hands are doing here. They're barely moving. So that I'm curious if that's what their cyclic input settings are. Let's get down there and look at that real quick. So I don't know what this thing is. I'll also get some water. So just take you to 0. 5% is basically fucking useless to me. Whoa, that far, really? Here, we're gonna get used to each other. Just like a fucking bucking horse. Fly extreme until I can fly it normally. That's kind of the way I learned in here with the 22. But also, it's later. It's 11:30, so we'll just make our way back up to the helipad areas up here. Yeah, there's no way this thing's this wobbly in real life. I need to book a couple of days with it. Really, I need to book a couple of days with a 44. Finish up that. Get a whole bunch more 22 time though. Really need that. Get commercially rated. Okay, weird stream tonight, guys. Yeah, I'll do a CSG flyover. I'll run down there real quick and do that for you. There you go. You're on the ground. Shut up. Annoying ass helicopter. Which it sucks because like the flying sides are pretty well rated. But also it's like I've flown the real thing. I've ridden into the real thing. It didn't feel like he was wrangling it that hard. Helicopter or airplane choice, bud. What you thinking? Also, while we're here, see there's like a KCSG. See there's like a downloadable. So not that. Any heli. From Speedway to CSG? Let's see. We'll pick something fast then. Columbus, Atlanta region. Speedway, CSG, fast helicopter. Helicopter. Let's run it. H125. Easy start, easy fly. Love these things. Boom. Boom. Get rid of all that. Get rid of that thing. No startups on the outside of this. All forward. Up. Cool, that feels right. Go away. Engine start, that's there. Fuel pump, anti-collision. Get that bad boy on. Engine be spinning. There it goes. Get one in the 60s. Generator on. Pitot on. Horn. Avionics. Map. Temperatures don't matter to me. Whoa, bud. Okay, Speedway traffic, helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey, picking up at the lower ramp next to the helipads. We will be departing direct from the ramp to the Southwest Speedway. Oh, more right pedal in this one. Silly Eurocopters. Good there. Look at that, already at 80 knots. What a machine. Dude, the A-Star is such a solid platform. It's like I kind of hate that it's... like that it's such like an old exterior design. But it's also like, it works so damn good. Also, I do want you up for map, because I don't know what my heading should be. Okay, generally that way. 21. Okay, it's on the bug. Sick. Cool, good quick run to finish off the night. Also, we flew the A-Star around here for the movie thing that we were working on, which I think I posted videos or pictures of the 145, the A-Star, and the Black Hawk and stuff like that in the Discord, which we were filming all of that down here. So we were chasing a Black Hawk and chasing the 145 in the A-Star, while the 145 was chasing and shooting blanks at a Crown Vic, escaping it down through this field at like 100 miles an hour. It was wild. Anyways. Back to the direction we're heading. We can see Pine Mountain in the distance there, and that's where we are going to be kind of tooting ourselves towards. Which once you get up a little bit of altitude, which I think we even talked about this months ago in like a shenanigans session or something. It's like once you go up a little bit, Pine Mountain, just from up here, it's like, oh, cool, it's right there. And you get to Griffin and you're like, oh shit, it's even closer. And then you get to the restaurant down here, Barnstormers, and you're like, damn, that's even closer. So yeah, it's a lot closer than you expect it to be. And it's like, I'd like to do the flight one day in something like the, in Kilo Foxtrot or Bravo Alpha, the 44s at the school. Or to do it in something like the A-Star, where I can comfortably get a cruise speed up to like 130 if I wanted to. don't even know what lake that is. Actually, I might. Yeah, I think we're in Vaughn. Sounds right. I don't know. Anyways, we're having fun. We're heading in this direction. We'll eventually end up down there in Columbus. What is this purple line there showing me? That's dumb. Direct to... Yeah, that's not right. C S G. Can't read it when the thing's right there over it. There we go. I like that. It's freaking taking me somewhere that was not KCSG. I wouldn't doubt that. Dude, Birmingham, despite being like a super, super cool town, feels super, super small driving through it. But I do like Birmingham. I do want to go spend some time out there soon. I drove through it when we were going out to go work on this helicopter TV show thing I was doing. I drove through it to get out there to Alabama, and I was pleasantly surprised with just the town in general. I mean, you're looking at whatever the population is, but it's like a small old industrial city that still does industrial stuff currently, but surrounded by like the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. And you just don't think about that when you say Birmingham, Alabama, which threw me off. Like, even the view of the airport from the interstate was just cool, the way it's kind of nestled in there. Which, now that we're talking about it, I'll just kind of show people who may be curious about it. Let go. That's Chattanooga. RMG, that doesn't sound like it. Is RMG Birmingham? See, ATL's there. You come in at 20. Me zoomed in enough for airspace and zoomed out enough for... Oh, here we go. So Birmingham here. The interstate's like right next to it, so you get the cool runway there, and then you also get like departing or approaching paths coming in there. It's just super neat, and you can see that it's just here in the long, like, trailing foothills of the Appalachian, which is sick. Yeah, I really want to go check out Old Town Birmingham soon. Okay, back on track. Leaning into this. Some people fly low and slow. That ain't me, son. We're slamming her back. GA-73 off to our left. I want to do some flying like this one day, because it's helicopters. We have this cool little thing where it's like we kind of don't have altitude rules. And the ones that we do are very by the pilot. It's basically fly at a safe altitude where we're not endangering people or property. So usually that would mean something along the lines of fly high enough so if you have an emergency where you need to auto-rotate, you can pick a field to put it in. The cool thing is you can auto-rotate at pretty low speeds. Or relatively low altitude. As long as I'm doing 65 knots, 70 knots, 75 knots, I can establish an auto-rotation pretty easily in a 22. I'm not going to say I would smack it perfectly at 100 feet above the ground, but if there's a field or a runway in front of me, like, we're walking away from it. So it's like going across, like right here, I could be lower because there's fields around me where I could turn off and get to if I needed to, but once we get up here a little bit more, it's like, cool, there's trees in the way. There's things that are going to make it less than optimal for me to try to do an auto-rotation into. But then it's also like, if you're an airplane and you don't have a glide distance to an airport, are you flying somewhere safe to where you're not going to cause damage to people or property? At that point, it's cool. Is there a field that you could land in if it's all forest? Like, guess what? A lot of Alabama is just forest. You might not be able to do that, and you'd cause damage to property technically if you consider trees property. But, you know, there's here and there on how you want to judge whatever the if you want to judge on how different stuff works. I wanted to see this lake, so we kind of flew off chart over here. Anyways, back to where we were going. So, like, technically with helicopters, you can fly a lot lower than like an airplane. Airplanes are trying to set up glide slopes and gliding distance. Like a lot of people when they're doing practice stuff somewhere offshore or flying along big lakes, they're going to make sure that they're at an altitude where they can just float on down and make it somewhere safe. With helicopters, we don't have the gift of glide distance. So it's like if I was here, like, let's say there was no fields for like 2 miles of me, like I'd need to be at like 6,000 feet. So that's a pilot's choice, and me saying, cool, I'll try to make an auto to somebody's yard, or I'm going to call the trees where I'm going to put it, and that's where I'm going to rest. Dark? Perhaps. But with that said, it's like outside of the glide distance stuff, you can kind of fly at whatever safe altitude where you're not bothering people with noise, you know? Noise is going to happen whether you're high or low. Like I've heard helicopters fly 6 feet over the house, basically, that are quieter than like a 172 flying over at 5,000 foot, like under power with a loud exhaust. So it can go both ways. You know, like I've heard quiets of both, I've heard louds of both. I think most people aren't going to care as long as you're getting over quickly and you're not going and doing orbits over their house. So, fun fact, I believe it's this town. Down this road, if you watch the end of The Walking Dead season 7 or 8, there's a bit where all the saviors are getting into a fight with all the hilltop people and stuff like that. And that happens to take place over here, I believe. Yeah. Pretty sure this is it. I'll show you guys that field real quick. At 7,000 and loud, yeah. So yeah, if you're curious where the Walking Dead Saviors showdown was, where it was all the Saviors with the guns, and they had rigged the ammo and stuff to make the guns explode to where they couldn't fight back or something like that. That happened to be here. So everybody kind of parked down here in one of these fields, and everything went back in the big field that we filmed in. If I remember right, was either, I don't think it was this field right here. I think it was this field over here to the right, because there was the road going through it. Yep. Because we had a props truck up here. So yeah, this is where the big Savior and Hilltop and Alexandria, whatever, fight was. So all the Saviors were here in the line, firing, and they all kind of blew up. And then the Hilltop people are... I didn't hit anything. Son of a bitch. Fucking pterodactyls. Anyways, all the Hilltop people were kind of down in this little... I think it was the Hilltop people. They were down in that little woods cove thing hiding right there. Anyways, that's this location here. So there's a fun fact for you guys. Back to course. And there are cows down there, so that checks out too. Throwing some speed at it. We are playing the torque game here. But yeah, like I'm just imagining having like a nice, reliable, fresh. It doesn't have to be fresh, just reliable. Something like an A-Star where it's like, okay, cool, like that Ariel 2C engine's just going to run. Or like an MD, the C250 Rolls engine is going to work. Like that's, they're just good motors. But getting one of those and more or less tree topping at like 140 knots would just be so fun. I'll do it one day. That's a given. I've mildly done some tree topping in the 22s, but that's just like, cool, I'm going over like a friend's house to wave at them. Because they live in the middle of nowhere where I don't have to worry about people or property. Or working on doing like some confined area landings. Of course, you're not coming in at 140 knots. You know, you're doing like 40. But still. So it's coming here over the Pine Mountain ridges. Which when you're on the ground, like the mountains don't seem that big. When you're in the air, they really don't seem that big. They're quite itsy bitsy. But one thing that you do notice, coming over the ridge, which I see is accurately modeled here, are towers. There are a lot of towers on ridge lines because that's the smart place to put them. And that's where signals would be getting blocked. So they put any tower, receiver, repeater, transceiver there on top of the ridge line. So these are accurate, and the general rule is, if you can imagine that tower standing up this way, and then laying over this way, whatever that outside of that arc is, or the tower's there. I'm trying to fly cyclic with my left hand. That arc like this for it laying down, you don't fly in that arc, because that means there's a good potential for guy wires. If I remember right, when we were flying over down here that one time, because I think I only did the Columbus trip once, Which I need to do again. I still got to give you a ride. If there's anybody ever in my chat that's earned a free helicopter ride for you and family, it's you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we cut down over like this little drop through on the mountains. $150. This thing screams. I love A-stars. 160. We are pushing it. But I don't care. I paid for that speedometer. I'm going to use all of it. Oh yeah, you were here pre around the world. You were here when I think in 2020. I think before 2024 came out. I think maybe. I don't think I did much streaming in 2020. I'm trying to think what the timeline on everything was. I don't remember. Because I don't remember when 2024... I think 2024 came out in, like, November 2024. And I think I had this setup all kind of built in, like, September. Yeah, so you were here November 2024. So you were, like, right around the Flight Sim 2024 launch times. I think you may have been in there pre-2024, though, because I was still flying around Hampton Speedway a good bit. All those streams are public, so I could always go back and see where you were in, but either way, yeah, you've been here forever. And I've met you twice when you're up there spotting and at the air show. So now, how cool is that too? That it was like anybody could have watched a stream, but you happen to be somebody who was somewhat local. So like things that I fly over and see and do and experience, it's also stuff that you get to see because you're generally here. And that's a very cool thing. It could have been somebody in Kansas, California. I mean, Tom's Australia, obviously. I wasn't having issues, so I was on 2020. Yeah, it could have been somebody from anywhere, but it ended up being somebody from Georgia. So, very cool. I need myself an A-star. These things are so good. I don't know, the 145 was also good. Also, dude, the recommended like works wonders sometimes. Like, there's sometimes where it's like shows me a channel that I'd have no interest in looking at either way. Which I feel like there is some general interest between what I'm doing and what you'd be watching, just because you have that interest in aviation. Of course, more on the fixed wing side, and but sometimes recommended's just like, you know what, we know something. We're gonna throw this over to you. Because there's been some things that I find, I'm like, dang, this is... Like, I'll have to go through my subscriptions one day just to see, like, the things that I'm subscribed. Because there's some things where these people haven't posted in years. But there's some newer things where it's like I never would have seen myself following that, but here I am watching them almost every night. I mean, like I've said it before, one of my guilty pleasures is watching some people that did... What is it? I know you said you were kind of under somewhere over here. I'm not going to say which one because I'm pretty sure I remember which one, but I don't want to oust you. But hey, probably see a house from here. Like, look, you're over there somewhere. Between Sheer and Hoge. Okay, so you said it. And I know generally other facts. So I'm going to kind of put myself here. Because I think this will give me a good shot because there's a landmark. So anyways, go outside, look up, wave. You hear me? Should have been using Notar. Anyways, we're in the approach path. We didn't get approval for that. What are we doing? Oh, we're outside out of the Delta anyway, so we can kind of do whatever we want to. But anyways, in the hizzle there. But yeah, like my guilty pleasures watching Grand Theft Auto 5 roleplay stuff. And there was a server, they closed down the server here recently, called OCRP for Orange County Roleplay. And they had a really cool, unique, not unique, but like I like the rule set they had in their server. And what it was the police have to be based in reality. So like if you're playing the game as a police officer, of course you can kind of be fun and have some whatever with it, but like you have to be based in reality. Like, so you can't be dirty cop, whatever. And that lets the people that are doing silly stuff as their RP do silly stuff, and it kind of it made the server seem very fun. Let's see. Columbus Tower, helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey is 5 miles to the northeast at 1,500 feet, traveling northeast, inbound with information Kilo. Say attention. Yeah, we're right here, orbiting the outside of the AE Delta, looking to come in and go direct to ramp over at Tier 1. Copy that. Good to go. Whatever. Get in here, boy. Off we go. Yeah, and one day it popped up to me, and it was a ridiculous thumbnail, which got my attention. And one of the guy's character names that he built in the game, he gave himself the name Chuck Livingston. And part of Chuck's thing is his nickname was Boat Boy, because he always, not always, but was always doing like maybe something boat related for some of his earlier role plays that he did. And anyways, it was like a pickup truck pulling a giant tugboat going into going around. They got a police chase and tried to escape and stuff. And it was really fun for me, and I really enjoyed watching it. And then I was like, cool, he's playing with another guy. Let me see the other guy's YouTube. So I watched his view of it. And then, like, everybody in the server kind of had their own views of all the events and different events going on. Because there's a few big-name YouTubers in there. Bay Area Bugs, Civ Ryan, Jeff Fabiano, who Jeff and Ryan have done flight sim stuff as well. At the intersection of Delta and Delta 4. Main helipad that isn't training is near the FBO. I don't think we have whatever's here. So there's the terminal. Maybe that. Anyways, we're coming in hot. So I'm assuming this first one we have Alpha going, Bravo, Charlie, Delta. I'd have to break out my actual Garmin. Take a look at this. Closer to the runway intersection. Interesting. Because that's not that. What I'm going to do, just because they're really, really bad about numbering runways, I'm actually going to set down real quick and throw her up in my Garmin on my phone. And then if anything, we'll do like another approach in to, because I see that little concrete thing. I think that's a drain. Buttery right there. FBO darker apron. Okay, so over here. Are we talking like that thing there? So I'm thinking FBO there. Oh, the triangle helipad right there. Gotcha. Sick. Tower's like, hey, helicopter, what are you doing on the ground there? Nothing. We're moving. Don't worry about us. Don't worry about us. Just pretend that we're still coming in for an approach. Up we go. Give her an old yank. Tower says, okay, cool, do your approach down Alpha, make the turn to parallel, whatever, on Delta, and then hit the helipad. Or then land and park at the helipad for the FBO. Something like that. And I'd be like, thank you. Because then I don't have to do a taxi. I treat this as my approach in. Then I can do a turn here. Oh, and the helipad's not denoted on the game here, but we can assume a spot. What? There's nothing there. There wouldn't even be like phone poles or anything out here to like make a hidden thing to impact. I also love how aggressive I get whenever it kills me for no reason. You had no business doing that to me. Cool, I got plenty of room in the back. So, like, realistically, I could. Or, like, really what I would have done if I was coming over here. There are two different ways I would have approached this. Ooh, hello. Looking backwards threw me off there for a second. Okay, so two ways I would have approached this right here. First would have been like, you would said, and then taxi into the non-movement area. And I would have said, okay. And I would come over here and do a nice slow like taxi. Like this. Oh, there's something right there. Something just bumped me. But I would not put my tail over the dirt. And my reasoning is, if there's a larger plane that's going that way, I don't want anything sticking further that way than I need to. Yeah, I think this is PHI. Or some sort of yellow. I think I did it because it was like Helicopter Express adjacent. Or I would have come in straight over the dirt. The one time that I did come here to CSG, I had come from the north, obviously. What up, dudes? I'd come from the north, obviously. And tower told us to go behind the tower, approach to the ramp, then turn right to follow the taxiway in. So what we did, we kind of came this way. We aimed for one of the intersections over here, just the taxiway. And there's like a FedEx or UPS, like Cessna cargo plane that was kind of parked over there on the right. So we didn't go straight over to Tier 1. Kind of came in here. Went around that guy. Kind of up in this parking lot. He said, cool, when you land up here, make sure we're center and close because we're going to have to push it into the garage because that's when we were swapping 91 Sierra for 34 Lima. So, pretty sure we did it this way. And then we pushed her up in there. Which is once, yeah. Not exactly a busy runway for... That was a no-pedal takeoff there. But anyways, dude, thanks for being in here as always. Anybody else that was here? I saw Blowheat in here at one point. Thanks for dropping in. Anybody else who's swung in here throughout there or watching this afterwards. Thanks for dropping by. It means a lot to me, and hopefully we'll be doing a lot more of these afternoon and evening streams soon, as the TV show that I'm working on in real life is wrapping this week. That gives me time to do a lot more filming, or a lot more YouTube related stuff. It's just kind of been a not busy but hectic past few months. So, with that said, thank you everybody for being here. I'm going to sign off, take a shower, make a snack, watch some YouTube, maybe some Grand Theft Auto roleplay, and call it good. So let's sit down here and see if we can back on the cyclic, which we can do in this. Unlike a Robinson where you don't do that. Cool. Anyways, thanks everybody for being here. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you always for... See ya! Get them to say that once, so I do have that going for me, which is nice. So yeah, see ya!